Reverend Timothy Daly will deliver the invocation. Reverend.
Wise and gracious one, we ask your blessings upon the students, faculty, and staff of Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. We have been called to the high task of seeking knowledge, promoting ethics, and seeking growth in body, mind, and spirit. We give thanks for the gifts of this class of 2001 and the ways they have made this university a better place for having been here. Grant students and families joy and satisfaction as they see their dreams of graduation fulfilled this day. We ask this, confident of your blessings. Amen.
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Embry-Riddle's Spring 2001 graduation ceremony. It's a great pleasure to welcome the families and friends of the graduates, community friends, and our distinguished guests to the most important and probably the most anticipated event in our academic calendar, graduation. Now I'm pleased to introduce the Chancellor of Daytona Beach campus, Dr. Thomas Conley. Dr. Conley.
About 30 years ago, a Yale University student wrote a term paper describing his vision for a revolutionary service that would forever change the world's business landscape. It was a pioneering and innovative idea, but received rather lukewarm recognition from his professor. Undaunted, this young visionary continued to plan and develop for the world's first overnight delivery service. Well, what was once the vision of a very creative young man is today a $20 billion market leader in transportation, information, and logistics solutions. It has 5 subsidiaries, including the world's #1 express transport firm. This subsidiary delivers 3.3 million packages daily. It serves 211 countries, has a fleet of over 662 aircraft that fly over 1 million miles per day. More than 215,000 dedicated employees are responsible for this company's success, and on April 17th, FedEx celebrated its 28th year of continuous operation. Many employees that started with the young visionary 28 years ago are still with that company today. Mr. Frederick W. Smith is the founder, chairman, president, and chief executive officer of FedEx Corporation and author of one of the most famous term papers ever written. Please join me in warmly welcoming one of the most innovative and far-sighted business leaders of our time, Mr. Frederick W. Smith. Fred.
Well, thank you very much, Tom. President Epps, thank you for inviting me. Graduates, parents, distinguished guests, on behalf of over 200,000 of my teammates at FedEx Corporation, I'm happy to be here to comment upon this remarkable achievement for all of you today. Not long ago, I was reading a book and came upon this statement, and I quote, "The Wright brothers created the single greatest cultural force since the invention of writing. The airplane became the first World Wide Web, bringing people, language, and ideas together. That statement was made by Microsoft founder and CEO Bill Gates, and should give you some idea of how he places the importance of aviation in the scheme of things. And I think that statement succinctly sums up what we are here to celebrate this morning: the power of flight, the importance of aviation, and the launch of many of you graduates into aviation-related careers. It's an especially pleasant occasion for me to address you today because my life, too, has been profoundly affected by aviation. As a pilot, as the founder of FedEx, a company built on air transportation, and as an advocate of the aviation industry worldwide. To me, there is no more exciting field in the world today than aviation. I agree with author Joyce Carol Oates, who said that flight stirs our capacity for dreaming. With its roots, as you well know, in the early 20th century, aviation will, I think, generate as much adventure and innovation in the 21st century as it did in the last. And you have the great privilege and opportunity to be right at the forefront of it. Since its founding more than 75 years ago, your Embry-Riddle University has always been at the forefront of aviation innovation, with a strong emphasis on scholarship, technology, and safety. And the close relationship that FedEx has had with Embry-Riddle over the years reflects the importance of the university's contribution, and I think a unique contribution, to the field of aviation. For instance, working at FedEx today are hundreds of graduates of Embry-Riddle, and from 140 to 180 of our employees attend Embry-Riddle classes at the remote campuses each semester. In our air operations professional staff alone, about 8% of them are Embry-Riddle graduates. And they're not just pilots. They're quality assurance inspectors, maintenance professionals, and operations managers. These are the people who keep our aircraft and our dreams aloft. People such as Randy Girolamo, an Embry-Riddle graduate, now one of our senior managers in our Global Operations Control Center at FedEx Express. This department is the nerve center for the entire FedEx Express fleet, planning flights for over 667 aircraft, the largest assemblage of wide-body airplanes in the world that deliver our shipments every day to 210 countries around the globe. Randy joined FedEx in 1979 as an intern and graduated from Embry-Riddle in 1981. For more than 20 years, he's been a top performer, garnering more than a dozen awards for his expertise and dedicated service. And I'm glad that Randy was able to accompany me here today to see this graduation. By the way, his dad, Tony, was a professor of aeronautics at Embry-Riddle from 1975 to 1984 and joined FedEx in 1988. Tony is now the manager of airport relations for FedEx, responsible for all our airport and development and business transactions in the South, Central, Eastern, and Californian regions. When he taught at Embry-Riddle, he arranged to have the university flag flown on Space Shuttle STS-13. Before his university work, Tony was a pilot and a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Air Force. Another Embry-Riddle graduate at FedEx is Frank Basile. He's our Director of Quality Aircraft Assurance for FedEx Express. He's responsible for aircraft inspection, audits of major aircraft and component vendors, aircraft certification programs, and all of our aircraft airworthiness compliance. Frank joined our company in 1979 and graduated from Embry-Riddle in 1990. And representing the flying side of our operation at FedEx Express is one of our fine aviators, and training professionals, Neil Light, a 12-year veteran of our company and a 13-year veteran of the U.S. Coast Guard before that. He's a DC-10 first officer and one of our flight standards check airmen. He graduated with an MBAA from Embry-Riddle in 1985. Besides a strong employee participation in the Embry-Riddle curriculum, as you can see by those three examples, we also have two intern programs with Embry-Riddle. One in flight operations, established in the late 1970s, and one in our maintenance group, begun about 3 years ago. Many of these interns in these programs have come to us in the middle of their college education and go on to become full-time FedEx employees. To you graduates today, I'd like to remind you that being a part of the aviation community brings responsibility along with the privileges you've so aptly earned. It is our collective responsibility to press forward on key aviation issues, and I place, and we all of us at FedEx place, safety at the very top of that list of responsibilities. You might be interested to know that FedEx is involved in the development of many new technologies that promise to improve the safety of air carrier operations. We hope they'll also contribute to reducing the well-commented upon air traffic congestion around our country and around the world. Two examples of these developments are the Automatic Dependent Surveillance Broadcast, or ADSB system, pioneered along with our able and friendly competitors, United Parcel Service. It's an advanced traffic management system that will give pilots and air traffic controllers a real-time, accurate display of all of the aircraft around them, both in the air and on the ground, or on the ground at an airport. Once in use, this system will improve airport arrival and departure rates in all weather conditions and reduce ground taxi delays. Above all, it should make things much safer for pilots and the people who fly on our commercial aircraft in high congestion areas that will only become more congested over time. The second new system we're working on as an example of our safety initiatives is one that should help airlines operate more efficiently in high-density airports. It's called the Local Area Augmentation System, or LAAS. It's an advanced air navigation system that increases the accuracy of the global positioning system information once an aircraft is in the terminal area. It complements ADSB and promises to replace the older ILS, or instrument landing systems, since it is significantly more accurate and costs significantly less. LAAS will allow more airports to be equipped with all-weather instrument landing systems. Eventually, as the fleet is changed from radio instrument landing systems to LAAS and more airports activate the system, we envision a time when we can virtually remove weather as an obstacle to landing at those airports. We're working with the FAA, the Air Transport Association, and the Cargo Airline Association, along with a number of prominent industry partners, on each of these important new systems. We intend to continue to take a leadership role in pressing the FAA to accelerate their deployment. The result will be more accurate information for pilots, more flexibility for the carriers to develop timely and fuel-efficient routes, and most importantly, greater safety for everyone in the sky. Over the span of your aviation careers, so much is possible and so many advances are within your grasp. In fact, I'd like to commend Embry-Riddle in particular on its recent establishment of 4 aviation safety-related programs in applied meteorology, air traffic management, and safety science. With many of the nation's air traffic controllers nearing retirement, these programs will pump new blood and cutting-edge technology into the air safety pipeline so that we can reduce air accidents by at least 80% over the next 10 years. Besides air safety and air technologies, the other key aviation front for FedEx, of course, is air cargo. According to the former president of the International Air Cargo Association, in exhaustive studies, during the next 30 years, air cargo will grow approximately 3 times the rate of the global economy. In fact, many industry leaders predict that the air cargo business will grow at twice the rate of the air passenger business in the next 10 to 15 years. World airborne cargo will grow more rapidly than mail, averaging 6.5% through 2019. Air cargo will not only be a trade facilitator, but a trade creator, as it boosts economic growth and creates jobs around the world. Now you might ask, why will air cargo grow at such a phenomenal rate? To answer that question, I think you have to recognize 4 enormous macroeconomic trends that will shape the world which you work and live in. And they are particularly important to the increasing development of the air cargo and air express industries. The first of these trends is the increase in high-tech and high-value-added goods as a percentage of all economic activity. As Chairman Alan Greenspan of the Federal Reserve notes repeatedly, the weight of the United States economic output has barely changed in the past half-century. During the same period of time, the value of the United States economy's output has increased by a factor of 5. Today's marketplace thrives in high technology products, electronics, pharmaceuticals, electronic and electrical instruments, advanced aviation and auto parts, and 90% of the distribution of these high-tech and high-value-added goods is done by air cargo and air express systems. Put another way, over 40% of the entire value of all international trade today moves by air, even though it is less than 2% of the total tonnage moved in international trade. The second big trend you will deal with in your aviation careers is the inexorable and increasing globalization of markets. International air cargo and express networks, such as the one FedEx operates, transcends borders and compresses time to get these high-tech and high-value-added items delivered fast. With global sourcing and selling, companies can streamline their supply chains and open new markets. Since 1990, the volume of international trade has grown almost 7% a year, about double the growth of domestic GDP. For example, Los Angeles International Airport, or LAX as it's known in the trade, alone handled over $62.5 billion in two-way trade in 1998. But that's nothing compared to the predicted growth of our industry. According to recent studies, Malaysia, China, Indonesia, and Thailand will be the fastest growing markets for international air cargo and express, in some cases growing as fast as 18% per year. And as our economy becomes more global, it also becomes faster paced. And that brings us to this third macroeconomic trend that will influence your business lives. And that is the fast cycle logistics phenomenon. Who can wait weeks to source goods from around the world in high-tech industries with obsolescence rates that sometimes run as high as 2 or 3% per month? One study estimates that about 40% of all U.S. economic activity is now conducted on a fast cycle or a just-in-time basis. Our estimate is by 2020, about 80% of all industrial activities will be conducted on a fast cycle basis. Fast speed of goods to market saves companies inventory and warehousing costs, and it will be a major driver of the air express and air cargo industry's growth over the next couple of decades. Instead of managing inventory at rest, as has been done traditionally, companies have a growing requirement to manage inventory in transit. The visibility of goods in motion now available to people today is based on our fourth macroeconomic trend that will influence your business lives, and that is the enormous growth in electronic commerce. It's a market that is growing so rapidly that projections become outdated almost as fast as you can click your mouse. In 1994, there were just a few users of the internet. In fact, most people had never heard of it. In 2000, there were 250 million users around the world on the internet. Business-to-business internet commerce is forecast to grow from about $150 billion in '99 to $2.8 trillion in 2003. The business-to-consumer or B2C market is also expected to grow from about $10 billion to $150 billion over the next 5 years. It's safe to say that when you cup your hand around your computer mouse, you hold the future in your hand. And I can think of no other source that rivals the kaleidoscope of possibilities offered by the internet and e-commerce in concert with fast delivery by air cargo and air express. By the way, an interesting fact not known to many folks is that the predecessor to the internet as the primary engine of e-commerce, the electronic data interchange, or EDI, was developed by a U.S. Air Force officer responding to the exigencies of the Berlin airlift. To summarize then, the growth of the air cargo industry has been influenced by these 4 enormous macro trends: the increase in high-tech and high-value added goods, globalization, the adoption of fast-cycle logistics, and the use of e-commerce to facilitate trade. Despite economic fluctuations, and we're in one at the moment, these trends will keep us flying high well into the 21st century, influencing both business in general, aviation, and you in particular. But they are external factors. There are other factors, and they're the internal ones that are perhaps even more important, not only in your business life, but in your personal life as well. Let me share with you a couple of thoughts about those internal values that I consider to be the keys to success, no matter what profession you choose or how much the economic landscape shifts. The first is I would urge you to have a passion for whatever it is that you choose to do. You must believe in what you do and enjoy doing it to be successful. To paraphrase U.S. Secretary of State General Colin Powell, find something you like to do and something that you can become good at if you want to be successful. There is simply no greater source of individual power and creativity than loving what you do. It's been said that what made Thomas Edison such a great inventor was his unlimited enthusiasm. Edison's passion to create resulted in patents for more than 1,000 inventions, including the phonograph, the telephone, the incandescent electric lamp, and the motion picture projector. Passion for what you do will keep you focused despite the naysayers and despite obstacles. The second value I would urge you to hold high is compassion, the ability to connect and cooperate with others. I've yet to see one person do it alone, and I assure you that I stand here today because of the efforts of many, many people at FedEx, like the Embry-Riddle graduates that I detailed to you earlier. You'll have to work well with others to put your passion or your plan into action if you want to be successful in the aviation field, I can assure you. You must believe in yourself, but equally important, you've got to develop the capabilities to believe in other people. The third value, and you're well on your way to accumulating that, is knowledge. You've got to learn everything you can and as much as you can. If you don't know the ins and outs of your profession, your company, you're liable to experience more downs than ups in your career. If possible, I'd recommend to you that you learn about many things, from ancient history to economic theory, from gardening to photography, from mutual funds to Mozart. One of the most important insights I ever had about FedEx was studying the development of the maritime trade in the 14th century by a French historian, to show you how those interdisciplinary studies can pay off. You never know when these studies might come together in your mind to synthesize a new idea or to grow a new passion. And the fourth attribute I would urge you to have in your career is flexibility, the ability to change, to adapt. If you can adapt, you'll be served well, since life is full of circumstances over which you'll have absolutely no control. In that regard, I'm reminded of something the phenomenal Boston Red Sox pitcher Pedro Martinez said. Every year I know more and more about the hitters and how they react to my pitching. There are some guys I know how to get out every single time, and I'll keep doing it unless they make an adjustment. And then when they do, I'll adjust again. It's that ability to adjust that will keep you pitching no-hitters over the long term. It is that ability to adjust that has allowed FedEx to grow from a startup in 1973 to a $20 billion company with 670 aircraft. Passion, compassion, knowledge, and flexibility. It's been my experience that the people who embrace these values, the people who step up to their responsibility, those are the people who will lead us into the bright future of aviation in the 21st century, and I am very confident that there are a number of you in this room that are going to do just that. In closing, I return to flight as a metaphor for the life that lies ahead of you and the hope that infuses all of our futures. I'd like to quote from an article in a recent edition of Flying Magazine. It was from a piece called Eyes of a Child by Lane Wallace. This plane can teach you more things and give you more gifts than I ever could. It won't get you a better job, a faster car, or a bigger house. But if you treat this airplane with respect and keep your eyes open, it may remind you of some of the things that you used to know, that life is in the moment. Joy matters more than money. The world is a beautiful place, especially from up here in the air, and that dreams really, truly are possible. Graduates of the 2001 class of Embry-Riddle, congratulations, and I hope that all the dreams that you have come true. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith, for your kind words of advice for our graduates. Would you please join me for a special presentation? Mr. Smith. At this time, I would like to introduce the President of Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, Dr. George Epps. Dr. Epps.
Thank you, Fred, for your encouraging words for us and for all of our graduates. Ed Bavaria, one of our trustees, would you join me here at the podium? What we have today is something called the Eagle of Aviation Award. This award recognizes individuals for their significant contributions in the field of aviation and for meritorious service. It's one of the highest honors presented by Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. Its presentation requires the approval of the Board of Trustees as well as our faculty. Now, Fred, is going to take a little bit longer than 30 seconds, so you're going to have to relax.
Okay.
He told me I couldn't make this too long, but there are too many good things that we can't afford to let pass. You've already seen in the back of your first page of your program some of the absolutely wonderful accomplishments of Frederick W. Smith. Today we acknowledge him for his distinguished and extensive career in aviation and for his continued example of innovation and excellence in business. As previously mentioned, Mr. Smith, founder, chairman, and president of the FedEx Corporation. The idea for this company, as Dr. Conley mentioned, came from a term paper written at Yale and is now over a $20 billion market leader in transportation, information, and logistics solutions. Mr. Smith's influence and commitment to aviation extends beyond the growth of FedEx, however, and FedEx's 5 operating companies. He's worked tirelessly as an advocate for regulatory issues, such as the advancement of deregulation in the 1970s and the open skies agreements we have today. Also, FedEx has taken the initiative in improving aviation safety by voluntarily upgrading its own aircraft fleet with advanced safety systems. As you heard earlier, he's working hard through FedEx to revolutionize the nation's air traffic system. Most recently, the company's wealth of technical expertise was applied to make it the first commercial operator to perform precision landing approaches using an augmented GPS global positioning system. This system promises to make significant and needed inroads towards increasing the airspace capacity in this country and abroad. Under Fred Smith's direction, FedEx management has developed the service processes and technical systems that are the envy of corporations worldwide. In fact, FedEx was the first company to win the Malcolm Baldrige Award, the National Quality Award in the service category, and was the first company to achieve in only 10 years revenues of $1 billion, and to do that without mergers and without acquisitions. At FedEx, emerging technologies are embraced and applied in ways that deliver powerful global business solutions for our 21st century. You know, we hear the words 1,000 times, the IBMs, the Hewlett-Packards, the Federal Expresses. For certain, these corporate powerhouses have achieved true excellence and all the qualities attractive to investors. They enjoy very strong and consistent performance. They've got fortress balance sheets and a steady growth in earnings, and their services and products have earned the continued respect of the market. But they have something more. They have a human dynamic that gives everyone the confidence to know exactly what they're trying to accomplish. Not only that, but everyone in those corporations seems to have a deep and almost fervent commitment to the corporate goals and the fierce loyalty to their organization. In a word, they have pride. They have pride in what they've accomplished, pride in being identified as an organization that has gained a national reputation for excellence, and most of all, pride in what the organization stands for and what it's trying to do. It's that same pride at Federal Express, it's that same pride at Embry-Riddle, it's that same pride in organizations and what we're doing together that makes us such symbiotic companions. Therefore, we honor also Mr. Smith and FedEx as partners with Embry-Riddle, recognizing the support and interaction between our two organizations. FedEx employs over 200 graduates. They are managers serving on everything from our industrial advisory councils here and to many other capacities throughout the FedEx Corporation. They help us ensure that our curricula are relevant, that private sector needs, and that our students receive educational training that provides advantages in their professional endeavors. FedEx continues to offer intern and co-op opportunities to Embry-Riddle students in a variety of technical fields. Nearly 1/2 of all adjunct professors and 75% of all the students at our extended campus site in Memphis, Tennessee, are employees of Federal Express. In honor of his distinction, in honor of acknowledgement for the strong future of aviation and that aviation is dependent upon an outstanding education, this Embry-Riddle Eagle of Aviation Award goes to a most exceptional person. Embry-Riddle proudly presents our award to Frederick W. Smith, this year's recipient of the Eagle of Aviation. Fred, thank you.
Thank you very much. Beautiful. Thank you very much. Good. Well, thank you very much. I wonder if Randy DiGirolamo, who's in the audience, would stand up, and Neil Lipes, who are the two, there they are right there. Any recognition that I've received is due, as I mentioned in my remarks, to the efforts of tens and now hundreds of thousands of FedEx folks, many of whom, as I mentioned to you, include Embry-Riddle graduates, and I want to express my appreciation to them and thank them for coming down here to represent those 200,000 people to accept this award. Thank you very much.
At this time, I would like to invite Dr. Connolly to join me at the podium. Dr. Connolly.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rabb. Well, from time to time, the university honors faculty members who are retiring by bestowing upon them the title of Professor Emeritus. We have a very unique opportunity today to honor 7 faculty members who are retiring after many years of service. Biographies of the faculty being honored this morning are in your commencement program, and I encourage you to review their significant contributions to the university and to our students. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Associate Professor Chandler Titus. Professor Titus is a member of the Aviation Maintenance Technology Department. He has 48 years of service with the university. Professor Leslie Kupala. He has 30 years of service with the university. Professor Bishop Blackwell, a member of the Aeronautical Science Department. Professor Blackwell has 25 years of service with the university. Associate Professor G. Frederick Mergel. Professor Mergel is a member of the Aviation Maintenance Technology Department with 24 years of service with the university. Associate Professor Mary Gurney is a member of the Physical Science Department with 21 years of service. Professor Phil Reeves. Professor Reeves is a member of the Aviation Maintenance Technology Department. He has 20 years of service with the university. And Professor Janet Preston, who is unable to be with us here today, is a member of the Humanities and Social Sciences Department. Professor Preston has 17 years of service with the university. On recommendation of the faculty, the President has appointed you Professor Emeritus. The faculty, staff, and students of Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University extend to you their congratulations and their best wishes for many rewarding years in this next phase of your life. Congratulations.
Each spring, the faculty recognizes one of their peers as outstanding teacher. Professor Robert Fleck, the recipient of last year's Outstanding Teaching Award, will introduce this year's recipient. Dr. Fleck.
The Outstanding Teacher Award is presented annually at this commencement to recognize the faculty member who has achieved excellence in the classroom throughout the current academic year. Nomination for this prestigious award is an honor in itself. The three finalists announced at the faculty assembly earlier this month are Ted Benai, Aeronautical Science; James Ladisek, Aerospace Engineering; James Lewis, Aeronautical Science. The recipient of this year's award is Dr. James Ladisek. Dr. Ladisek, will you please join me at the podium? James Ladisek is a professor of aerospace engineering, a member of the American Society for Engineering Education, and a member of the Association for the Advancement of Computing and Education. He is a former Associate Fellow of the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics, a member of the Society of Naval Architects and Marine Engineers, and the Society for Manufacturing Engineering. Dr. Ladisek has 22 years of combined industrial engineering design, analysis, and consulting experience. He has 26 years of university teaching experience in engineering and in mathematics, and has taught courses in aircraft detail design, engineering mechanics, airplane performance, and aerodynamics here at Embry-Riddle since 1981. He's also an Embry-Riddle graduate, so that's faith in your product there, huh? He is a registered professional engineer in Florida, a designated engineering representative with the Federal Aviation Administration, and continues to maintain an active engineering consulting practice in the areas of airplane design, analysis, and certification within the aerospace community, along with general structural engineering, design, and analysis consulting throughout the U.S. industrial community. Dr. Ladisek has been a prime mover in the creation and implementation of the Integrated Curriculum and Engineering Program, the Curriculum Technology Program funded by Boeing Company. It is my pleasure to present him the award for Outstanding Teacher of the Year. Congratulations, Tim, on this truly deserved award.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you very much. Good job. Oh, yeah. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Jim. In recognition of excellence in research at the university, the Daytona Beach faculty has chosen to recognize one of their peers. Last year's recipient of the award, Professor Howard Patrick, will announce the recipient. Dr. Patrick.
The Outstanding Research Award is presented at this commencement to recognize the faculty member who has achieved excellence in research on the Daytona Beach campus. Nomination for this prestigious award is an honor in itself. The three finalists announced at the faculty assembly in April are Satya Gangadharan, Engineering Technology, David Kim, Aerospace Engineering, and Al Helfrich, Engineering Technology. The recipient of this year's award is Dr. Al Helfrich. Dr. Helfrich, would you please join me at the podium? Al Helfrich has been at Embry-Riddle since January 1992. He holds a BS in Physics from Uppsala College, an MS in Mathematics from New Jersey Institute of Technology, and a PhD in Applied Science from Clayton University. He has authored 10 textbooks, more than 100 technical papers, contributions to handbooks, the World Book Encyclopedia, the Macmillan Computer Science for Students, and others. He has been interviewed by major television stations on interference to avionics from portable electronics carried aboard airplanes. Al has been a member of 5 special committees of the Radio Technical Commission for Aeronautics and RTCA, dating back to 1978. He is a senior member of the Institute of Electrical Electronics Engineers, an associate fellow and technical member of the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics, and a life fellow of the Radio Club of America, as well as a member of Sigma Pi Sigma Physics and Kappa Mu Epsilon Mathematics and the Avionics Engineering Technology Honor Society. He has 4 U.S. patents and is a registered professional engineer. It is my pleasure to present to him the award for Outstanding Researcher of the Year.
Congratulations, Al. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce Ms. Kathy Dainer, Dean of Students, for a special presentation. Kathy?
Each commencement, an outstanding graduating senior is selected to receive the Chancellor's Award. Candidates for this award of distinction are selected on the basis of academic excellence, campus activities, and contributions to the university and to the local community. These students are leaders who challenge others around them to think, to question, and to act, and are recommended by representatives of the faculty, the staff, and the student body. Nomination for this honor reflects campus-wide recognition of outstanding accomplishments. Settling on a list of finalists was difficult, and selecting a recipient means to deny some of our finest students the recognition they too should deserve. At this time, we would like to have the 3 finalists stand and be presented to you. They represent the very best that Embry-Riddle has. They are Christina Dumais, Christopher Roberts, and Paul Bailey. Dr. Conley, would you join me at the podium to present the award?
Thank you very much, Kathy. I am very pleased to announce the senior who is receiving the Chancellor's Award this year, Christina Dumais. Will you please come forward, Christina? Christina is graduating today with a Bachelor of Science degree in Aviation Business Administration and a minor in Computer Applications with a cumulative grade point average of 3.9. Originally from Ecuador, Christina has lived in numerous countries because of her father's employment with the United Nations. She's fluent in English, Spanish, and French. Christina has often been recognized for her academic achievement and leadership. And in 1998, she was the outstanding freshman in the Business Administration program. Christina has placed second in the Florida Phi Beta Lambda State Leadership Conference in the year 2000 in international business, and in the year 2001 it was in business decision making. She also received a diploma for advanced French in the Summer Abroad program in Paris. Other honors include Who's Who, All-American Scholarship Award, National Dean's List, National Collegiate Business Merit Award, Omicron Delta Kappa, and Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University's Dean's List every semester. Christina is also very active in campus life as a member of the Business Administration Student Advisory Board and the Society for the Advancement of Management. As Public Relations Coordinator for the Diving Eagle Scuba Club and as President of both the Delta Mu Delta National Honor Society and the Phi Beta Lambda. Christina has been accepted into the Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University's graduate program to pursue a Master of Business Administration in Aviation. Her future career goals are to work for the Pricing and Revenue Management Department of a major airline. Christina exemplifies the excellent qualities of our Embry-Riddle graduates, and we are pleased to honor her today with the Chancellor's Award.
It's now my pleasure to introduce you to the President of the Senior Class, Mr. Hugh McConan. Hugh?
To the faculty, staff, honored guests, and most importantly, the graduates of the class of 2001, good morning and welcome. Well, since the only person who likes to hear me talk is me, I'll try to keep this as short as possible. We're here today to mark the end of a long journey, one that started 4 years, well, for some of us 5 or 6 years ago, ironically, in this same place during freshman orientation. Many of us just graduated high school, trying to convince our parents that underwater fire prevention was a real college degree. And that's what we wanted to do for the rest of our lives. Think back to when we were young, wide-eyed kids with dreams, goals, and aspirations of making the world a better place. We would spend countless late nights at the library studying hard to succeed in our classes. As we moved on and became sophomores, we still studied hard. We just learned to do it at the ocean deck, Razzles, or burn castles. If we had spent as much time on our homework as we did at the bars, we'd probably all have 4.0s. As we became juniors and seniors, we matured, and for the first time, we were able to see the finish line. For a lot of us, we woke up every morning wondering if life was passing us by or trying to run us over. But somehow we made it. We leave here knowing that the experience that we have had in college have made us a better person. Where else can you go where in September you buy books for $300 and in December sell them back for $8.37? How else could you have learned to balance your checkbook if you didn't get parking tickets every day for parking in the wrong colored lot? And what better workout program is there than the Riddle Runaround? We couldn't have done it alone though. And I want to ask Chaz Miller, wherever you are, to stand up for a second. Thank you to Chaz Miller, who is our senior class vice president. and who lost his job because I won the coin toss. Thank you for your hard work and for helping me write this speech. To the rest of the senior class council, Oliver, Matt, Jonathan, Matt, Joe, Josh, and Dave, thank you for a semester filled with triumphs and failures. To Helen LaDon, our senior class advisor, we definitely could not have done it without you. Thank you to all the professors, the friends, the bars that helped us survive. But you know, there's one special group of people without their time, their money, their support, their money, their love, and their money, we would not be sitting here today. Will all the parents of all the graduates please stand? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Without you, some of us might not have ever have made it. We are now beginning a new journey that will take us to new places and new adventures. You have the control of your future. You can do anything you want to, work anywhere you want to, and be anything that you want to be. Expect more than others think is possible. By expecting more, you will strive for more, work harder, and motivate yourself to succeed. And when you improve yourself, you will become more satisfied with the results. When you expect more than others, at the very least, you will improve yourself. Dream more than others think is practical. With dreaming comes freedom. Nobody can tell us what we can dream about, what we can't dream about. We guide our dreams anywhere, so don't limit them. With dreaming also comes creativity. If you limit your dreams, you are limiting your ability to achieve. We can only reach as far as we dream, so don't limit your chances. A few other words of advice. Don't undermine your worth by comparing yourself to others. It is because we are all different that makes us special. Don't set your goals by what others deem as important. Only you know what is best for you. Don't take for granted the things closest to your heart. Cling to them as you would your life, for without them, life is meaningless. Don't let light slip through your fingers by living in the past or in the future. Live one day at a time, and you'll live all your days of your life to the fullest. Do not give up when you still have something to give. Nothing is really over until you stop trying. Don't be afraid to be less than perfect. People will respect you more. Don't run through life so fast that you forget not only where you're going, but where you have been. And don't be afraid to learn. Knowledge is weightless and a treasure that you can easily carry anywhere. And finally, success is not measured by how much money you make or how many toys you end up with. It is measured by whether you have fun at what you do. Remember, as we leave here, we'll be taking a lot of things with us. The knowledge that we have gained, the lifelong friendships that we have made, but probably the biggest thing that we will take with us when we leave here, at least for me, are our school loans. I think Chaz again puts it best when he says that we are the Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University graduating class of 2001. After today, every one of our names changes. We now add Embry-Riddle class of 2001 to the end. Remember, it brings honor, integrity, and dignity. There will be people that love us and people that hate us because of it. But one thing is for certain, and that is we are all here today, graduates of the finest aeronautical institution anywhere. We are the Embry-Riddle class of 2001. Just want to say to my parents and my sister and the rest of my family, I love you. Dad, happy birthday, and I hope you like your present. Thank you, and God bless.
At this time, it's my pleasure to recognize several distinguished group of students. First, Embry-Riddle is fortunate to have several armed forces commissioning programs active on Daytona Beach campus. The Air Force ROTC detachment has the largest elective enrollment of any civilian institution in the country, while the Army ROTC detachment is rated at the top 2% in the nation. Some of our students also join Navy and Marine Corps through off-campus programs. We are extremely proud of our graduates who have become the new second lieutenants in our nation's armed forces. Will the new lieutenants please stand at this time and be recognized? Thank you. Continue our recognition of special achievements. We wish to present the graduates who are completing their degrees with honors. They will be recognized individually when their names are announced as they cross the stage to receive their diplomas. As a group, graduates wearing white coats have achieved grade point average of between 3.5 and 3.69 and are graduating cum laude with honors. Will these students please stand and be recognized? Thank you. Graduates wearing red coats have achieved grade point average of between 3.70 and 3.89 and are graduating magna cum laude with great honors. Will these students please stand to be recognized? Thank you. Graduates wearing gold coats have earned a grade point average of between 3.9 and 4.0 and are graduating summa cum laude with highest honors. Will these students please stand and be recognized? At this time, the faculty are pleased to present the candidates for graduate degrees from both Daytona and extended campus.
Professor Daniel Petrie will present the candidates for the degree of Executive Master of Business Administration for Aviation and Aerospace Professionals. Candidates for the degree of Executive Master of Business Administration for Aviation and Aerospace Professionals. Maggie Aiken. Enon Elmarini. Michael R. Hingy. Nguyen Ho. Peter Marburger with distinction. Noureddin Mujahid. Brian Anthony Quillen. Professor Tim Brady will present the candidates for the degree of Master of Aeronautical Science. Candidates for the degree of Master of Aeronautical Science. Lance Wade Quebeca. Desiree Nambalihi M. Gudibu. Christine Bonbankal Jayuma. Julie Teresa Schell. Professor Ray Mankbody will present the candidate for the degree of Master of Science in Aerospace Engineering. Candidate for the degree of Master of Science in Aerospace Engineering. Hisan Sunny Lee. Professor Ray Mankbody will present the candidate for the degree of Master of Aerospace Engineering. Candidates for the degree of Master of Aerospace Engineering. Grace Colley Gregory. Professor Daniel Petrie will present the candidates for the degree of Master of Business Administration in Aviation. Candidates for the degree of Master of Business Administration in Aviation. Juan Manuel Gomez. Stephen Ronald John. Tanya Danielle Kay. Olga Vladimirovna Raji Vinya, with distinction. Roy Anthony Peter Rosales. Theodorus Theodosiadis. Adrian Ricardo Thomas II. David Torres Garland Collins. Professor Iraj Hermanpour will present the candidates for the degree of Master of Software Engineering. Candidates for the degree of Master of Software Engineering. Ayub Ali. Timothy B. Beck. Jose Rafael Cruz. Kevin Gilbert Dion. Chi Y Fan. Tabinda Haraf. Kevin Mark Hightower. Victor Manuel Pasol. Kalpesh Ramanbhai Patel. Vivek Vijay. This concludes the master's candidates from the Daytona Beach campus.
Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me this opportunity to introduce Dr. Leon Blanchard, Chancellor of the Extended Campus.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Extended Campus oversees residence centers in the United States, throughout the world, and by distance learning. We're pleased to have a number of students and faculty here today to participate with the Daytona Beach campus in our commencement ceremonies. At this time, the faculty of the Extended Campus are pleased to present the candidates for graduate degrees. Dr. Bill Getter, the Dean of Academics for the College of Career Education, will present the Extended Campus degrees.
Candidates for the degree of Master of Aeronautical Science. Michael Ray Belton, with distinction. John F. Berry. Larry Douglas Billups, with distinction. Stephen Matthew Carboni. Jeffrey Michael Daniels.
Better get it right this time.
Christopher James DeHome, with distinction. Juan C. Garcia. Ehino H. Hernandez. Thomas Vane Higgins II, with distinction. George Marsh Landis III. Robert Mark Norris. Greg Allen Pipes, with distinction. Danny Ray Zimmerman, with distinction. Candidates for the degree of Master of Business Administration in Aviation. Nedal Naif Abulabi. Stephen Curtis Cottrill. Ann M. Howard. Janet F. Kaiser, with distinction. Farid Cahill, with distinction. George Allen Odom. Stephen Wendell Spikes. Eddie Lee L. Spivey, with distinction. Candidates for the degree of Master of Science in Technical Management. Michael Lansing, Jr. Raul Manuel Rivera, with distinction. Eddie Lee Terrell. Charles D. Whiting IV, with distinction. This concludes the master's candidates from the extended campus.
At this time, the faculty of Daytona Beach campus are pleased to present the candidates for undergraduate degrees. We are proud to announce that we are graduating our first class in the computer engineering degree program. The department chairs for each of the degree program will present the diplomas.
Professor Michael Wiggins will present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Aeronautical Science. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Aeronautical Science: Adam Michael Abernathy, summa cum laude. Andrew John Apt, cum laude. Krishna A. Avvalya. Felipe Vieira Souza Alvarez. Andreas Marcus Ambihul. Kelvin Kwesi Empofo, Sigma Tau Delta. Timur Reynolds Enderick. Kurt Eben Argot. Gina Ariana, magna cum laude. Ronald Richard Baker, magna cum laude, Omicron Delta Kappa. Hamilton Jordan Barrett, cum laude. Second Lieutenant, United States Army, John Robert Bartholomew. Justin Joseph Beisel. Jason Ray Bennett. Kyle Austin Burkhauser. Michael Philip Blanchard. Diane Marie Baylor. Vincent Joseph Bonadio, cum laude. Kent Charles Bond, Jr. Gregory Briscoe. Travis J. Brock. Tara Lynn Bullock. Nicholas James Burrows. James Casey Boussard. Melissa Cabrera. Jason Scott Kolodny, cum laude. Nick Andrew Cameron. Charles John Carlock. Rick Andrew Queso. Anthony Richard Cavalli. Brian Lee Sherdon, Alpha Omicron Alpha. James John Sislevich. Rachel Ann Cohen. Shannon Kathleen Conley, magna cum laude. Michael Thomas Kopak, magna cum laude. Gary Wayne Cross, Jr. Dustin Samuel DeLon, cum laude. Thomas Micah Detwiller, cum laude. Second Lieutenant, United States Air Force, Nathan Joseph Dole. James Yancey Dorsey. Courtney Michelle Echterling, cum laude. Keith Martin Edmondson. Second Lieutenant, United States Army, Matthew D. Elliott. Brian Richard Urice. Yes! Woo! Jeffrey Frank Farrell. Nicholas Joseph Feliciano. Brian Edward Ferguson, cum laude. Adam Michael Dahl, cum laude. Andrew Ty Gardner. Marcus Joseph Jensen, Alpha Omicron Alpha. Joshua Daniel Gregg. Daniel Thomas Griffith, Jr. Anthony Winfield Hammond, Jr. Colin Niall Han. Joseph Sean Hanley, Senior Class Counsel. Scott Charles Hendrickson. Randy Reuben Hens. Christian James Herger, Alpha Omicron Alpha, cum laude. Jason Howard. Timothy Robert Hurlbert, magna cum laude. Matthew LeBray Inkel. Jeffrey Michael Jablonski. Carl Nathaniel Johnson, Omicron Delta Kappa, summa cum laude. Brandon Todd Kearns. David Edward Kessler, summa cum laude, Omicron Delta Kappa. Jeffrey Aaron Klee. Alexander Yurovich Krivenchev, summa cum laude. Gary E. Latimer, magna cum laude. Jai Wan Lee. Brian Eric Lemon. Lenny Lorena, cum laude, Alpha Omicron Alpha. Kevin Scott McLean. Christian Machado. Thomas Mahoney, Jr., magna cum laude. E.O. McConan, President, Senior Class Counsel. Matthew Jacob Marks. William Robert McCormick, magna cum laude, Omicron Delta Kappa. Roger Anthony McCrossan. Ignacio E. Medina. Charles Glenn Miller, Vice President, Senior Class Counsel. Richard Dario Mohammed. Theodore James Montesano, cum laude, Omicron Delta Kappa. Justin Robert Monty, magna cum laude. Joshua David Morin, Senior Class Counsel. Ikahiro Motiji. Leo Alfred Nagafuchi. John Hugh Uso. Richard William Papp. Aaron Keith Payne, magna cum laude. Second Lieutenant, United States Army, Samuel Reed Pemberton. Andrew Luke Pesto. Craig Dellis Pieper. David Francis Potts, cum laude. Blaine Chad Pugmere, magna cum laude. Michael F. Ragucci. Jeff Ramanan. William Arthur Remay III. Hector Jose Robles. William Kyle Rowe, summa cum laude. Chad Edward Rogers. Ryan Michael Rogers, Senior Class Counsel. Martin Rokas. Nicole Marie Salazar, Alpha Omicron Alpha. Matthew Aaron Santruck. Jonathan Richard Sawyer. William Oliver Shields II, Secretary, Senior Class Counsel. Timothy Gerard Sloan, cum laude. Paul David Sloan III. Amanda Marlowe Slocum. Graham Thomas Smith. Second Lieutenant, United States Air Force, Nathaniel Kent Smith. Sue Song. Timothy James Spurbeck. Austin Daniels Stanton, cum laude, Alpha Omicron Alpha. Gregory Dean Stock. David Lee Sullins. Jason Reed Tossig, cum laude. Anthony Arthur Tillelli. Christopher Thunder. Ryan Trexell. Second Lieutenant, United States Air Force, Julio Cesar Trujillo. Kyriakos Soupanis, magna cum laude. Second Lieutenant, United States Air Force, Dale Robert Turnbull, Jr. John Basil Farrell. Michael J. Vicens. Jeremy Vrooman. Aaron David Wade. Michael William Wallachy. Craig Winston Walker. Stephen Bernie Warren. Austin Bernard Widener, magna cum laude. Ryan Lawrence Welch. Brandon Kurt Wiemeyer, magna cum laude, Alpha Omicron Alpha. Glenn Allen Wilhelm, Jr., magna cum laude. Dante Joel Williams, cum laude, Omicron Delta Kappa. Robert Paul Yaden. Brian Dana Yates, cum laude. Matthew Scott Zenizer, Treasurer, Senior Class Council. Andres Enrique Zambrano, Second Lieutenant, United States Air Force, Nicholas George Zervos. Professor Michael Wiggins will present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Professional Aeronautics. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Professional Aeronautics. George Amanzi Anyanwu, cum laude. Amar Ashraf. Christopher Montgomery Bryant. Danica Sager Dry. Brian Allen Lingus. Eugene C. Mack. Second Lieutenant, United States Air Force, Thomas Adam Neal, magna cum laude. Garrett Luz Pendleton, magna cum laude. Charles Clifford White, magna cum laude. Scott Woody. Candidate for the degree of Associate in Science in Airway Science, William D. Moletti. Professor Frank Ritchie will present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Air Traffic Management. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Air Traffic Management, Jeffrey Michael Evans. Eric R. Holler. Professor Ray Mankbody will present the candidates for degrees from the Aerospace Engineering and Civil Engineering departments. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Aerospace Engineering, Khaled Ahmed Al-Kabi. Bita Njumshoa, cum laude, Sigma Gamma Tau. John William Atwood. Paul Michael Bailey, magna cum laude, Sigma Gamma Tau. Michael Andrew Benson, Sigma Gamma Tau. Frederick David Bogus. Moazzam Musafar Butt. Michael Louis Castiglione, cum laude, Sigma Gamma Tau. Zachary Craig, Sigma Gamma Tau, Omicron Delta Kappa. Brian Wayne Cravens. Scott Michael Donkey. Kevin Ronald Duda, magna cum laude, Sigma Gamma Tau, Omicron Delta Kappa, who's who among students in American universities and colleges. Second Lieutenant, United States Air Force, Nicole Lacey Gallagher, magna cum laude, who's who among students in American universities and colleges. Sean Garapi. Eric Matthew Gouge. Robert Eugene Gum. Schubert Wong, cum laude. David B. Lawentman. Daniel Richard Linjozek, Sigma Gamma Tau. Teresa Lynn Marshall. Kyle Gregory Moss, magna cum laude. Timothy Edward Meckley, Sigma Gamma Tau. Michael Lemuel Nave. Philip Ryan Orley, Sigma Gamma Tau, Omicron Delta Kappa, who's who among students. Jens Holger Fender, summa cum laude, Sigma Gamma Tau. Christopher David Reynolds. Samuel Leon September. Matthew James Stoll, magna cum laude, Sigma Gamma Tau. Jake Allen Storms, Sigma Gamma Tau. Timothy Peter Van Ness. Second Lieutenant, United States Army, Michael Wazalewski. Jason Nathaniel Wesley. Derek Alexander Willis. Richard Darren Wise, magna cum laude, Sigma Gamma Tau, who's who among students. Tammy Jean Wolf, cum laude, Sigma Gamma Tau. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering. Second Lieutenant, United States Army, Roger Eugene Huey. Ryan C. Kirschman, magna cum laude. Sarah Marie Pointek, magna cum laude. Second Lieutenant, United States Air Force, Frank William Rovello, cum laude. Professor Nancy Parker will present the candidates from the Aerospace Studies program. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Aerospace Studies. David Bayer, Senior Class Counsel. David Brian Bridges, cum laude. Jeremy Paul Butts. Sukwu Choi. Heath Aaron Barbacher. Melissa Glenna Gaines. Jeb Stewart Alexander Green. Shani Latisse Haley. Michael Hollinsworth. Julie Scott Hudson. Ronald Shane Patrick. Nicholas Salamunia, cum laude. Second Lieutenant, United States Air Force, Chad Daniel Sabero. Professor John Williams will present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Human Factors Psychology. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Human Factors Psychology. Second Lieutenant, United States Air Force, Amanda Bieberbach. Second Lieutenant, United States Air Force, Jonathan Marshall Kane. Mindy Colleen Chu. Tiffany Blair Maris Cohen, magna cum laude. David Shane Flowers. Renee Nicole Frierson, Sigma Tau Delta. Jacqueline Yvonne Hamilton, Omicron Delta Kappa, who's who among students. James William Holler. Stephanie Marie Cressine. Kevin Lawson Lindley. Second Lieutenant, United States Army, Rafael Rivera. Matthew Roach. Second Lieutenant, United States Air Force, Anthony Lee Skisick. Eugene Nelson St. Clair II. Robert Earl Simons. Second Lieutenant, United States Air Force, Daniel Roger Wheeler. Professor Daniel Petrie will present the candidates from the Business Administration Department. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Aviation Business Administration. Second Lieutenant, United States Air Force, Alejandro Manuel Acevedo. Scott Matthew Adams. Matthew J. Ahern. Senior Class Counsel, Who's Who among students. Norani Ali, summa cum laude, Delta Mu Delta. Jason Matthew Epp, magna cum laude, Delta Mu Delta. Robert Clifton Brown. Mina Kim Carlson, Sigma Tau Delta, Who's Who among students. John Armstrong Davis. Second Lieutenant, United States Air Force, Arnold Austin Roque Diasis. Second Lieutenant, United States Air Force, Joseph Nicholas Desparte. Christina M. Dumais, summa cum laude, Delta Mu Delta, Omicron Delta Kappa, Phi Beta Lambda, Who's Who among students. Conley Michael Edosian. Mark Francis Eldred Figueroa. Jonathan Arthur Fossen, Senior Class Counsel, Delta Mu Delta, Phi Beta Lambda, Who's Who among students. Second Lieutenant, United States Air Force, Michael Robert Fulton. Evadne O. Graham. Who's Who among students. Second Lieutenant, United States Air Force, Damian Allen Griffin. John Thomas Hanna. Samuel Joseph Johnson. William Kwong. Maria Lawson, magna cum laude. Eric Christopher Levins, Phi Beta Lambda. Second Lieutenant, United States Air Force, Eric J. McGumber. Anthony Mercatanti. Bernardo Moreno, Delta Mu Delta. Carlos F. Nino. Jerry Dela Cruz Pasquale, cum laude, Omicron Delta Kappa, Delta Mu Delta, Phi Beta Lambda. Karen Lynn Peterson, Omicron Delta Kappa, Who's Who among students. Peter Michael Petrakis. Andrew Phillips, summa cum laude, Delta Mu Delta, Omicron Delta Kappa, Who's Who among students, Phi Beta Lambda. Jason Edward Prefke. Brian William Quaid. Oliver Bernd Reddick. Sean Edmund Rogers, Sigma Tau Delta. Michael Anthony Sisko. Stephanie Vincent. Andrew L. West. Lucian Vernon Wilson. Candidates for the degree of Associate in Science in Aviation Business Administration. Mark Luke Kirchen. Stephen Andrew Rubin. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Aviation Management. Heather Michelle Balin, magna cum laude, who's who among students. Christy Marie Harris. Amy Kathleen Lynn. Melissa Ann Melius. Joshua Robert Starr. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Aviation Maintenance Management. Emil Jose Iudskin. Brian Joseph Maselli. Carlos J. Montañez. Gary Roy Nyland. Samer A. Shohai. Christopher David Stadler, cum laude, who's who among students. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Management of Technical Operations. Darren Michael Ruddick. Jeffrey Ryan Rutroff. Saroki Saliki. Fazil Singh. Jude Sullivan Toscano. Professor Iraj Hermanpour will present the candidates from the Department of Computing and Mathematics. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Aviation Computer Science. Second Lieutenant, United States Air Force, Melissa Eileen Esch, Omicron Delta Kappa. Molly Lynn McGuire. Alexander N. Pandalos, cum laude. Kristen Marie Williams. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Computer Science. Matthew Thomas Armstrong. Second Lieutenant, United States Air Force, James Lee Carpenter, cum laude. Lawrence Michael Delp, magna cum laude. Thomas Leonard Erickson. Kevin Daniel Hawkins. Dawn Marie Kaiser, cum laude. Second Lieutenant, United States Air Force, Sean Andrew Lehman. Second Lieutenant, United States Air Force, Timothy Allen Munro. Peter Hooen. Ryan Scott Regensberger, cum laude. Eric Lee Shaw, magna cum laude. Christopher Eugene Worth. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Computer Engineering. Lisa Golden, cum laude. Curtis Paul Kinest, Upsilon Pi Epsilon, Omicron Delta Kappa. Jason Lamb, Upsilon Alpha Epsilon. Herman C. Lau, magna cum laude. Eduardo Sanz Martin. Professor Peter Pierpont will present the candidates from the Engineering Technology Department. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Aircraft Engineering Technology. Nader Ibrahim Awad. Michael J. Kominski. Vivanka Edrig Singha. Who's who among American students? Ta Alpha Pi. Ahmed Mahmoud Hassan. Mike Angelo Kalongo. Akram Gouda Gatab. Vinayak Kara. Matthew Klosky. Delyan Kovachev. Kyle Robert Koval. John Kenneth Wooten. Mohammed Kamar Ali Yamani. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Aviation Technology. Mark Alfred Brocious. Daniel Lee Coral. Steve Kelly Harless. Anthony James John Herkenroder. James Martin Keller. Brandon Peter Lambert. Todd Andrew Ludwig. Stephen Patrick O'Leary. Arthur Olachowski. Thomas Reju Vadakita. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Avionics Engineering Technology. Muhammad Usman Mastan. John James McMillan. Daniel Robert Halzowitz, cum laude. Juan Ruiz. Shiraz Sheikh, cum laude, who's who among students. Professor Michael Williams will present the candidates from the Aviation Maintenance Technology Department. Candidates for the degree of Associate in Aviation Maintenance Technology. Roger Matthew Forsty. Jason William Klinklin. Ryan Oliver Parks. Professor John Olivero will present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Engineering Physics. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Engineering Physics. Robert Joseph Begley III, cum laude, Omicron Delta Kappa.
Barbara Agnieszka Benkowski. James Stephen Follett, magna cum laude, Omicron Delta Kappa. Second Lieutenant, United States Air Force, Jeffrey Edward Gallagher. Sarah Ann Kazukowicz, cum laude, Omicron Delta Kappa, who's who among students. Sean Lindsay. Felicia Ann Luton. Second Lieutenant, United States Air Force, Charles McMillan III. K.K. Modi. Stacy Janine Nauman. Shane William Pixton. Christopher James Roberts, Omicron Delta Kappa. Mark Fernando Rubio. Second Lieutenant, United States Air Force, Christopher Anthony James Scow, Omicron Delta Kappa. This concludes the candidates for undergraduate degrees from the Daytona Beach campus.
The faculty of extended campus are pleased to present their candidates for undergraduate degrees. Dr. Getter.
Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Aviation Business Administration. Scott Carl Chebin. Alfredo Jose Cruz. Antoniette Naomi Gracie. Teresa Luciano. James Edward Van Reenen, cum laude. Candidate for the degree of Associate in Science in Aviation Business Administration. Derica Christine Eppelsheimer. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Management of Technical Operations. Thomas R. Ardito. Matthew Willie Burnshead. Alvaro Andres Delgado. Carlos Alberto Montoya. Reginald Allen Harris. Amit Vatwani. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Professional Aeronautics. Alan Merle Bayless, cum laude. Philip John Charlesworth, summa cum laude. Christopher Harrington David Cooper. Travis Wayne Davis. Pedro J. Donate. Michael Wayne Udy. Robert R.A. Faguli. Danny W. Hoffman, magna cum laude. Thomas Leroy Holmes. Brandon Michael Porkley, magna cum laude. Eric Allen Jansen. Adnan Khan. Michael Edward Lewis, cum laude. Kenny Elijah Matthews. Sean Patrick Mority. John C. Morvan. Onisuru D. Odamiwo. Eric Shannon Parker. Robert Lemoyne Phillips. Valbert George Richardson. Michael Joseph Roxbury, Jr. Vito Stephen Setti. Frederick John Stewart. Anthony Michael Temperino. Althea Gail Tharker, summa cum laude. Carlos Alexis Thompson, cum laude. Delphine Omar Torres, magna cum laude. Nicole Michelle Wiley.
Mr. Bavaria, upon the recommendation of the faculty of the Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, it is my honor to present you to the candidates for graduation.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer on you, as appropriate, the associate degree, the associate in science degree, the bachelor's degree, the Bachelor of Science degree, the master's degree, and the Master of Science degree, with all rights, privileges, honors, and responsibilities appertaining thereto. Congratulations, graduates. You may now move your tassels from right to left.
That's right.